everybody, Pete Peterson here with Dream Huge Realty. Special guests here in the studio today, Travis Smith and Christa Hammock, correct? Okay, very good, from First Federal Community Bank. So check it out, we've got their logo here. Don't make fun of my artwork now, but that's close. But I wanted to make sure you understand that's not part of the web address. They're actually at ffcb.com. So for everybody watching and joining in, and they're just going to tell us a little bit about their business. And welcome to the neighborhood.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you guys, welcome to the building. They are here on the first floor. First Federal Community Bank, so welcome to the building. So this will be your Mansfield Lending Center, is that correct?
That's correct, yep.
All right, excellent. I got to ask, why Mansfield?
Well, Travis, you want to take that one?
Well, I think the natural progression, we, a year ago, opened up a full-service branch in Crestline. We're based out of Bucyrus, so we've been trending this way for a couple years now, and I think the growth and the enormous opportunity over in Mansfield, Lexington, Ashland, Ontario, this whole area, Belleville, offers a lot of opportunity for us as a bank.
Sure.
And I feel like we can offer a lot of opportunity to the local businesses and residents of
Yes.
this area and provide a lot of great service and products.
Yes, yes, I love it. Growing, right?
Absolutely.
If you ain't growing, you're dying.
That's right.
That's a great quote by the famous coach Lou Holtz, and we preach that, and we try to grow as a business every year as well.
Mhm.
Even though this is only our first year in business, but we are growing every month, so
Right,
it's easy
absolutely.
for us to grow this
Right.
year.
Right.
But very cool. So yeah, and I think of, and you mentioned Crestline, and that's where I first was introduced to you guys, because I'm a Mansfield guy,
Yep.
Richland County. So I get over to Bucyrus some, but really for me, what stood out was your Crestline location. It's pretty awesome, right?
Oh, that's nice. Yep.
It's got that. It's right there by McDonald's, right? If you guys aren't familiar, it looks like almost like a medieval castle
It is.
kind of
Yep.
style.
The stone on the side.
With the stone, and you guys did a complete remodel on the inside, is it correct?
Yep.
So yeah, that's what I know you guys for, and I'm excited to see you guys expanding and coming over to Mansfield and Richland County. So, and you told us a little bit about your bank, but personally, just tell us a little bit about yourselves here. I know you do commercial,
Yep.
and you are doing residential mortgages.
That's
A little bit about your experience and maybe some specialties.
Yeah, I've been in banking 16 years. Doesn't feel that long, but it's been 16 years.
It
So
flies by
it
when you're having
flies,
fun.
man. It
Yes,
flies.
yes.
But no, yep, I'm in the commercial arena, so that includes purchases, ag lending, lines of credit, business acquisitions. And as far as purchases, it doesn't it could be a rental house all the way up to a 100. You know what I mean?
Sure.
We do everything in between.
Yeah.
We're not necessarily a niche market. We look at everything as far as
just-
on the commercial side.
Yeah, and that's good you mentioned multifamily. Just so, is it still anything 5+ units is considered commercial in the multifamily? 4 and under residential?
I think we do have products on the 4 and under on the residential side. But if you don't fit in that, that's something I could also look at as well, and we could run it on the commercial side.
Okay, all right, very good. And Christa, what about your experience?
So I've also been in banking for about 10 years now. Been in lending for about 4. Came to First Federal about 2 years ago, and since then I've kind of taken off on the mortgage side. We do auto loans and consumer loans of all types as well. But as far as the residential side, we can work with the secondary market to get you a little bit better rates outside of our portfolio loans. We also have that fallback to save any deal that may not work on the secondary market with our portfolio products as well.
Okay, all right, very good. Do you guys mind me grilling you a little bit? Do you want to take the ball and run with it at all, or you tell me?
You're fine, man.
Okay.
Grill away.
All right,
Grill
and if
away.
I miss something, just jump right in,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And likewise from the crew back here, Sonia and Christy are also with us as well. So thank you for coming again. So, for my agents, for the general public, why would someone choose FFCB? Why would we choose you guys?
So on the residential side, I would say your biggest thing is, yeah, we can play with the secondary market and work on those lower interest rates that are extremely low right now. But we also, like I said before, we have that fallback of our portfolio products. So our board is a little bit more lenient on some things that maybe the secondary market is very stern on. We can work with like self-employed people a little bit easier than what the secondary market would. Sometimes they require 3 years of tax returns for the secondary market when someone is self-employed, whereas we could do something in-house to kind of make it work until you can get those 3 years up and running.
So you've got a little more flexibility and power when it comes to not having to deal with the secondary markets.
Yes,
being that you're locally owned. Okay.
But at the same time, we can also take advantage of the secondary market as well. We work with a company called Federal Home Loan Bank, and we service those loans, so it's taking advantage of the secondary market rates at the same time as our bank servicing that loan. So any payments that you need made, any questions that you may have, anything would be directly dealt with us, whereas you wouldn't necessarily have to call Texas or New Jersey.
Communication is key, right,
Yes.
folks? I mean, whenever you're dealing with a lender, if they can have better communication, the better. Aiden, what's up? You don't want to be on the video? No?
Yeah, good.
It's the youngest agent I've ever seen.
That is the youngest agent, that's right.
Here's Mr. Bigelow. So, okay, very good. Well, those are great reasons right there. Let me just dive into some of the basics, okay? And just to try and educate some folks out there today, and maybe even ourselves as well. I want to buy a home. Where do I start? I don't even know where to begin. What should I do?
Okay. First, you're going to want to come in and talk to somebody. So we can work on a pre-approval with something as little as your ID and some sort of form of your pay stub.
Okay.
So whether that be a simple pay stub or, like you said, tax returns for self-employed is a little bit more in depth.
Okay.
But yeah, we can start with something as simple as a pre-approval and get that rolling out within the same day in some cases.
Simple as stopping in with an ID and a pay stub.
Yep.
Okay, very good. And then what about when we get things rolling? What documentation are you going to need from me?
Sure. So we require on just a normal W-2 employee, we would require 2 years of tax returns. Included in that, we would need W-2s for both years. We would need 1 month of current pay stubs. If it's a purchase, we do require 2 months of bank statements showing the proof of your down payment and closing costs. Correct me if I'm missing anything. I feel like there was something else.
That's it.
Yeah, so it doesn't take a whole lot.
Sure. But you do like to see that 2 years work experience.
We do, yes.
Yeah.
We don't require 2 years on the same job. Just as long as if you've recently moved, as long as you're either transitioning up or your pay is going up, in that case, we do require full time in order to do a mortgage though.
Okay, gotcha. Questions? Brian, Biggie, Adam, jump right in. Diana, if you have any questions, let us know. We'll get to you.
What if there's a gap in employment?
There you go. What if there's a gap in employment?
We can. Sonia, do you want to go ahead?
Well,
Yeah,
there
COVID
is,
gap,
as
right?
long as- it's like, there is a window there, for gap, and especially if you're moving, and if you're gonna be moving like in a same field, staying in the same field, there's no problem.
Okay.
Basically, we just ask you to document it and tell us why.
Are you experiencing delays in closings currently? A smirk and a laugh and a giggle. Yeah.
So, yes and no.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, everybody knows that everybody is buying right now. So appraisals are taking the longest amount of time. We're still not seeing too bad of turnaround times where it comes to title searches and things like that. But your biggest holdup is going to be your appraisal. If we can get the appraisal back in 2 weeks, you're probably looking at about 30 to 45 days still.
Okay, yeah.
I'd even say that on the commercial side, I'm in that area as well.
So it's the appraisers ones dragging their feet in this whole deal.
I don't think they're
We
dragging
need to
their
speed
feet.
this up.
Maybe we just need more of them.
Yes.
They're overwhelmed.
We need more appraisers.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because that's one of my next questions is, you know, why does it take 30 days to close? So much can happen within 30 days.
Yes.
You know, especially in the age of now and, you know, kids want push button, get mortgage, right?
Yes,
I hate to talk
yes.
about the competition, their slogan, but can we ever get to that? And what could we do to get to that? I want to be able to, you know, like I'm buying something on Amazon, have it delivered Prime next day. We should be able to streamline this process, and I know this is way beyond my means, but this is what we struggle with every day. Because, you know, things change, the market changes every single day. I mean, you'll get an argument with your spouse, and all of a sudden your market has changed.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
So, let alone one day, let alone 30 days. Is there ever any talk in the industry of, I mean, I know, and we're even closer to 45 now at this point, but is there talk of automating things in any way or doing things to speed that up?
There are some ways that you can speed it up. I will say, is it 14 days that the government requires you from start? So when it comes to residential, there are a lot of there's a lot of red tape. There's a lot of regulations that we have to follow and things like that. One regulation about time is that they require us from the date that we start the date that you sign your disclosures, you have to wait 14 days before you can actually close. It's a government regulation, and there's no necessarily way to get around it.
Government regulations.
It is.
It's due to the disclosures and everything
Yeah.
that we have to provide
So,
to
like
the
you-
customer in so many days, and
Uh-huh.
the closing disclosure and all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I was to give you a timeline, best case scenario you could ever get to until the government changes their mind is 2 weeks.
2 weeks at
Mhm.
minimum. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good old government. They're good for some things, but not so much on others.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Christa, as well with our government loans, if we would do like
Tammy.
USDA or FHA, we're held up because of underwriting.
That's
The
true,
underwriters.
yes.
A
Yep.
lot of times it's the underwriters that's behind it.
So if you're looking at those 0 money down, 3.5% down, government type of loans, so not only are you kind of held up by your 14 days, but we're also working directly with the government and their underwriters, along with every other bank in the country that does secondary market, to wait on them to process a loan and underwrite it for us as well.
Okay. So we got to go to the government to get things.
On the secondary market, now portfolio, we can flip things around portfolio quite quickly.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, you still obviously have your 14 days because we can't get around that.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, portfolio is definitely a little bit quicker.
Okay. Very good.
One thing to add, the portfolio, our loan committee meets every Tuesday,
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay.
they have the final approval, but
Yep.
we do not present the loan to them until we have the appraisal and everything back.
Okay.
But they meet every Tuesday, so that's nice
Mhm.
to get the final approval.
And it's still local, like we
Yeah.
still have a local board that approves our loans.
Okay. Very good. What do you see happening with rates in the coming year?
Your guess is as good as ours.
Yeah. Well, nobody has a crystal ball. I understand that,
Right.
but what is what's the talk in the industry? What is it pointing towards?
My assumption, just my assumption is prime will probably go back up after the election. I mean, we've seen it drop quite significantly, come up to it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously nobody really knows what's gonna happen,
Right.
but if I had to guess, that would be my guess.
What about the housing market? So I know you guys aren't technically in the housing market, but you are really.
Yeah.
You know, indirectly.
I don't see it changing. I mean, we've
I-
been saying for what, 2 years
Stay
now?
hot.
I think it's gonna stay hot.
And we've just been talking about how it's gonna slow down. Like we'll be able to breathe here soon. We'll be able to breathe, and it hasn't. It just hasn't slowed down.
I mean, even if rates creep up a bit, they're still
They're
still
way
great.
low.
They're
Yeah.
still low.
Yeah.
So it's going to take time.
For it to
That
get all the
increase
way
isn't
up
gonna
there.
happen in 30
Right.
days.
Mm-hmm.
It's so. You know, I read an article a couple weeks back about how foreclosures are or people who are 60 days plus late on their mortgage payments is an all-time high right now across the United States. But the foreclosures haven't kicked in yet to follow. Usually those two lines follow each other.
Yep.
Well, and they say until after the first of the year is when they will actually kick in, if they do kick in, because you know that that government assistance is gonna run out at some point.
Yeah.
So is that what we're gonna see? Are we gonna, what's the talks on that? So my thinking is, if late payments are at all-time highs, aren't foreclosures gonna be at all-time highs as well? And then won't the housing market then shift into a buyer's market?
It's definitely possible. I will say no bank wants to foreclose. Nobody wants to. So especially with COVID and all of that fun stuff going on right now, I mean, we're not even allowed, as far as I understand, to foreclose right now. And until then, they're
That's the
gonna
other
take
thing.
the time.
Okay, so you're not even allowed to foreclose. That's
Yeah.
a great point. Until when? Have they said?
We have not got a date on that.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
See, I hate to say it, but
And on the commercial side, I've seen that a lot where, a lot of the landlords have told me like, man, tenant A, B, and C, they're 90 days late, but they go, well, you can't kick me out because of COVID. Even if they have the money to pay,
Doesn't matter.
Mhm.
doesn't matter. They just claim COVID and they
There's
can't
no
get
proof
anyone
of
out.
anything.
No.
Yeah.
Nope. So it's getting
It's
people
a
out of
very
their
gray
homes.
area
Yeah.
right now.
at some point, we're gonna have to realize the dollars and cents of it though, right?
Yeah.
We can't just put it off for so long. So yeah, that's why I think it's coming. We're gonna have a pricing correction and the rates are gonna increase. But just by when and by how much
Right.
really is the only question. So, get your crystal balls out,
Yeah.
folks. We'll figure it out. I think that's what's gonna have to happen though, because we can't just, you can't survive on handouts. It's gotta come. The bills have to be paid one way or the other at some point.
Right.
Okay, changing the subject a little bit. The rates are so low. When should I refinance? What's the magic number to be worth my while to come in and just do all the paperwork, pay the fees, and actually go ahead and refinance my mortgage?
For everybody, it's different. So we kind of sit down, we go through what your current rate is, how much time you have left on your term, what your monthly payment is. Do you want to extend to another 30-year? Do you want to cut it back to a 15-year? There's so many different things that you have to include in that everybody's a case-by-case basis when it comes to physically deciding.
Okay. So again, stop in or call.
Yes.
Yep, and see where it goes from there.
Mhm.
What does the future hold for FFCB? First Federal Community Bank.
Hopefully great success in this Mansfield market.
Yes.
That's what we're shooting for, and continuing to grow like we talked about earlier. I think our products are second to none, to be honest with you, residential and commercial side. I mean, we do 25-year amortizations on the commercial side for real estate, which
Great point.
from what I've heard is different than some of the local competition here, as well as a 5-5 arm, so you're fixed for 5, rate change fixed for 5, so on and so forth through that 25 years. And at that rate change, we have 1% caps on the commercial side. So if you're at 4.5%, if your rate in 5 years should be 9, you're only going to be at 5.5.
Okay.
So that's a really nice safety net for borrowers.
Sure.
They feel great about that. So
Attractive. What about money down? 25%? 30%?
Non-owners 30%, owner occupied 20% on the commercial side.
Okay.
We can get pretty creative with that though. I mean, when you're talking larger numbers, a lot of people don't have $300,000 just to put down on a purchase.
Sure.
So if you have other collateral that's unencumbered, we can mortgage that. We can. There's different ways to get from point A to point B than just a strictly 30% down. I mean,
Sure.
We're pretty flexible and wanting to help our borrowers get to where they want to go. So,
Okay. Very good. What else? Anybody else? I know you guys got a busy day, full schedule as always, so I don't want to keep you too long.
fire away on any questions, absolutely.
Or did you guys have anything else? 'Cause I
I
was
appreciate
really-
you having us in.
Yeah.
Definitely,
That's
definitely.
very kind of you. And
Yes.
I'd just like to add, if there's any events or any, things that you guys need sponsors for, by all means, call us. I'll leave a couple of my cards here. That's my role as marketing director, so anything we can do or partner with you on, please let us
Beautiful.
know.
Very good.
One thing I wanna add, with the refis, I've been doing a lot of cash out refis.
Mm-hmm.
On a good note, with COVID, some people were off, they were doing home improvement
Yeah.
things at home.
Oh, yeah.
Good
and wanted to get cash out or pay off. They like the lower interest rate, but, or refinance like all their credit cards and combining them to pay off higher interest rates on other loans, but
Sure.
a lot of home improvements going on too.
Yep.
They had the time because they were off work.
You guys
Sure.
have great HELOC products too, don't we?
Yeah, we
we
do.
do have really great HELOC programs.
Well, very good. Well, Travis, Christa, Christy, Sonia,
Yes.
Look at Pete.
thank you for joining
Yeah, all
us
four of
today.
them, man.
Boom.
Good work.
And remember, if you have any questions or if you want to talk, get any of those conversations started, FFCB.com. FFCB.com. First Federal Community Bank. Remember, community is their middle name.
That is correct.
It's
correct.
Thanks for joining us today, guys. Pete Peterson with Dream Huge Realty. Work hard, never give up, and dream huge. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you.